Well, what a season it's been. Hard to believe that it's coming to a close as we get set for the second season, the best time of year, the playoffs. But let's look back on this 56 condensed season that hopefully we won't see anything like it for a very long time, maybe ever again.
Hope not.
Johnny, we'll start with you. When you look back on the last few months, what stands out to you as one of the more memorable moments?
So I'm going to start with the top of the heap and Connor McDavid and not only the year he had, but I think specifically to the game where he achieved 100 points. We've been counting down to it for 2 months. He needed 4 points against the Vancouver Canucks, 4 to get in his last game at home. And I tell you what, guys, watching that game, he could have had 7, 8, 9. I mean, that was as good as I've ever seen him play. He was all over. He picked up 4 through 2 periods. And it was just like Wayne when he wanted 50 and 39. He just willed himself to do it. And you're not supposed to be able to will yourself to do anything in the NHL because other professionals are trying to stop you, but he's at that level. I just thought that night symbolized his absolute greatness and dominance. You look at the numbers, the points per game, and where he stands historically in the last few decades. I thought that night was a highlight night of a highlight year for the ages for Connor McDavid.
Can't really disagree. I mean, I never, at the start of the year, never, even knowing how good Connor McDavid is, would have been like, oh yeah, he's going to put up over 100 points in 55 games. Like, no, I never, ever would have thought that would have happened. Each, what about you?
Well, there's no wrong answers, right? I mean, there's so many really good moments, and I think, Johnny, that's a great one with Connor McDavid. I think all those great moments we saw with, players retiring and other guys shaking their hands. We saw Ryan Miller and his parents, the situation with TJ Oshie recently. That was kind of his father passing away and going out and getting the hat trick. That was memorable. But for me, the one I guess that stands out the most is just the games in Lake Tahoe. Because I don't know if we're ever going to see anything quite like that again. It didn't kind of come off maybe as they had hoped because we had that long 9-hour intermission between the first game where the ice was bad and the sun kind of did a number on it there. But, I mean, look at that.
It was so picturesque.
I mean, that's a game with
it's fake.
Yeah.
It looks fake.
Yeah, that's right. It did. And then we even got to see it later in the early evening as the sun was kind of going over the mountains, and then they played into the evening in the Boston-Philadelphia game, and the Bruins guys really embracing it with kind of, what was it, that 80s or 90s clothing and that whole thing.
The old windbreakers.
Yeah, those were nice. Those were nice. But, yeah, that to me stood out, and I'll remember that for a while, Jackie. How about you?
I'll tell you what, I'll never forget, was it like a crescent moon? I just remember the moon over the ice, and like that only happens because of, I guess, a somewhat happy accident that things didn't work out earlier in the day. You're talking about Connor McDavid doing something we didn't think we would ever really see, and I think Patrick Marleau, setting the all-time games played record. I mean, how can we ignore that? And it's not just that he did it. For me, I think what stands out even more is the emotion around the moment. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen Patrick Marleau get that openly emotional in front of a camera before.
He doesn't.
Yeah, so, I think it was very telling. I mean, you know what? Let's play it back.
Super special. I think, the Sharks organization just, they went above and beyond. Like, look at there's patches. They got, you name it, they did it. Brought my family in here. Vegas Golden Knights, got to thank them, giving us a suite for my family, and just for them to, the fans here to show their, support and gratitude. It's overwhelming. It's really unbelievable.
Patty, what keeps you coming to the rink?
I just love it. There's nothing else like it. So.
And that moment speaks for itself. And I'll tell you what, we had him on the show the next day, and he was pretty emotional still 24 hours later, talking about what it meant to him. And seeing the reaction from the Howe family as well has been remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, last night, that was, I was actually at the rink playing hockey last night, and I'm coming back home, and I saw this note, and there it is, the tweet. On the behalf of the NHLPA and in a request from the Howe family, Marlowe was presented with the stick used in Gordie Howe's final NHL game.
Wow.
That stick was displayed in the Hockey Hall of Fame and will be replaced by a stick used by Marlowe in his record-breaking game. And you can see here Patrick looking at this last night as he receives this. I mean, Johnny, this is, I don't know what to say. That the Howe family would make this gesture. I mean, this is just, I mean, I'm at a loss for words. A stick from Gordie Howe in his final game that he played that was in the Hall of Fame all these years. I don't know.
That's like a priceless piece of hockey history.
Yeah.
And the family is so magnanimous that when the record was broken, not only did they celebrate Patrick Marleau's achievement, but they ushered in his spot into the Hall of Fame in the spot where Gordie Howe's stick used to be. And I got to think, I don't know how much Patrick Marleau has as far as memorabilia goes around his house, but that would have to be one of the preeminent spotlight piece of any kind of collection. Gordie Howe's last stick. And it's not like, I bet Patrick Marleau used 25 sticks his last game. Yeah. Like every shift he used a different stick. Yeah. But I bet Gordie Howe probably used 2. I don't think he did that. They probably didn't do the same thing. We weren't aware of those things. That is such a unique piece. And the personal connection of Patrick Marleau and what he did chasing down Gordie Howe, the Howe family support of him, kind of just feels like hockey in all the right ways.
Yeah, that just gave me chills, you saying that, actually. It says a lot, I think, about the Howe family, because I know if it was my dad or whatever, I'd be like, I want it. I want it. I'm taking it. Yeah. But evidently, the Howes are classier than I.
Well, hey, listen, Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey.
Yes.
Right? Mr. Hockey. I mean, that says it all, like Johnny mentioned, and just classy people. I've known Mark Howe over the years. Doesn't get much better than that. So, wow, what a gesture. And you're right, that was a great moment this year.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I actually can't even believe it still since you told me this morning. All right, for those wondering, Patrick Marleau.
I got Jax. I got.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was saying,
no,
you can read this out. I have one more I wanted to get to, but you can read the Patrick Marleau stuff. Yeah.
All right, just that he does want to play next season if the opportunity is there. So, retirement party on hold for now. Johnny, what did you want to add?
Well, I was just going to say one more thing that I liked this year that was completely unrelated to any individual, and it maybe summed up kind of the world that we were living in. I got to tell you, one of my favorite moments of the entire year is when I watched a game and I saw fans in the building. Yeah. I don't care if there was 1,000 or 2,000 or 7,000. When I watched Nashville play and I hear them like, they're not pumping in crowd noise, that's actually a crowd making noise. Yeah. Like it just, you know, there's little steps in this past year where you're trying to cling to something positive, a return to normalcy, you know, a sense of balance in the world that we once knew that has not been around for 15 months. And when I saw fans in the building, and I know it hasn't been the same for every building, and up in Canada they haven't had it. When I watch TV, when I see fans react, and I see the players and all of it, that resonates just because of what a tough and strange year it's been.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, players will never take having a building full of fans for granted again, and fans of the game will never take for granted going to an actual sporting event moving forward, I don't think.